Welcome to Purity and Passion, where we don't chase validation, we don't play games, and we don't pretend to be something we're not. Here, we refine the man within, through clarity, through strength, through stillness. This is where raw masculinity meets timeless wisdom, where the fire of desire is tamed by the discipline of character. If you've ever loved right and still lost, if you've ever been the man who gave space, showed up, stayed true, only to be left with silence, confusion, or heartbreak, this video is for you. Because the truth is, most men were never taught the real rules, not by their fathers, not by school, not by society. Attraction is not logic, it's not fairness, it's instinct, emotion, polarity. And when you understand the hidden language behind how women feel, you stop reacting, you start leading. This isn't manipulation, this is mastery. So if you're ready to step into a version of yourself that women feel before you ever speak, lock in. Let's begin. The power of steadfastness. In a world where consistency is rare, you become the rarest thing she encounters. Women are flooded with attention, compliments, empty promises. But in a sea of flakes and talkers, the man who simply shows up becomes unforgettable. Being steadfast isn't about being rigid. It's about being a man of your word, a man whose actions speak even louder than his presence. Say you'll call? You do. Say you'll show up? You're early. You follow through, not to impress, but because that's who you are. And in today's uncertain world, a man who keeps his word feels like gravity, a grounding force in chaos. Be that, she'll feel it. 2. Confidence in silence. Confidence isn't in volume, it's in presence. It's the man who walks into a room and doesn't need the room to notice. He's not performing, he's not posturing, he's simply at peace with himself. Real confidence is the echo of promises kept in private. It's built in sweat, in solitude, in the quiet victories that no one applauds. When you no longer need the world to tell you who you are, she notices. Because you're not chasing attention, you're commanding respect. And that's the kind of power that doesn't scream, it radiates. 3. The magnetic pull of ambition. A man without a mission is a man without a map. He wanders, hoping life hands him something good. But life doesn't respond to hope, it responds to direction. When you move with purpose, when your life is building towards something, she feels that. She may not know why, but ambition has a gravitational field. And here's the truth. You don't chase women when you're chasing your mission. You build a life so rich, so focused, so magnetic. She wants to be part of it. Because a man on fire doesn't have to convince anyone to feel his heat. 4. The controlled chaos of the Stoic bad boy. Let's clear this up. It's not that women love toxicity, it's that they're drawn to intensity, to mystery, to a man whose world isn't on full display. You don't owe your soul on day one. You don't explain every move. You let your presence do the talking. You remain grounded. You remain composed. And she is left wondering, what's behind that calm? And that wondering, that's where attraction lives. You're not cold. You're contained. And in that quiet storm, she feels something dangerously safe. That's the paradox. That's the edge. Mid-video interlude. If you've made it this far, you're not just consuming content, you're transforming, and for that, I honor you. Share this video, like it, not for me, but for every man out there who's ready to rise. This is not entertainment, this is evolution. Let's continue. 5. The scarcity of attention. When your attention is everywhere, it means nothing, but when it's rare, it's priceless. In a world where likes are cheap and DMs are endless, your silence becomes your value. You don't need to validate every picture. You don't rush to praise her like every other man. Instead, you observe. You speak when it matters. Not because you're cold, but because you respect yourself too much to throw your energy everywhere. And when a woman senses that your attention is earned, not given away freely. She values it more, because deep down she knows anything rare must be protected, anything sacred must be pursued. Sixth pre-selection, the social proof. Affect attraction isn't always logical. It's instinctual, primal. Women notice who notices you. They notice if high-value women respect you, and that activates something deep. It's not vanity, it's survival. You don't fake this, you live it. You cultivate a life surrounded by strong, radiant energy. You're social, calm, comfortable in a room full of women, not chasing, just being. That tells her everything. You're not desperate to be chosen, you're already chosen, and she'll want to know why. 7. Unapologetic masculinity. Masculinity isn't a threat, it's a foundation. Real masculinity isn't loud, it's not controlling, it's presence. It's the ability to remain unmoved in chaos. It's the man who anchors while everything else crashes. And in that stillness, women feel safe. Because true masculinity doesn't dominate, it holds space, it doesn't perform, it protects, it doesn't react, it responds. You don't have to shrink to be accepted. You don't have to explode to be respected. Just stand rooted and let the world adjust around your gravity. 8. Charismatic leadership. Leadership isn't about control, it's about direction. The man who decides, plans, initiates, he gives the feminine space to relax because she feels his clarity, she feels his intention, whether it's picking the place, navigating a tough moment, or charting the course of his life. He doesn't hesitate. That kind of energy doesn't overpower, it invites trust, because in a passive world, direction is rare, and where there's direction, there's desire. 9. Emotional intelligence, the Stoic superpower. When she storms, most men panic. They try to fix, they withdraw, or they react. But a Stoic man, he breathes, he listens, he anchors, not because he's emotionless, but because he understands hers without losing himself. He doesn't need to solve her feelings. He simply lets her feel. That's power, that's presence, that's emotional mastery. And in a world of fragile egos, that kind of strength is unforgettable. 10. Unshakable passion. Passion is the fire in your chest, the thing that moves you, even when no one's watching. It's not performance. It's not bravado. It's purpose. She doesn't want to be your reason to live. She wants to join a man already alive. So build that life. Chase your craft. Feed your spirit. Because when your passion burns for you, she'll feel the heat. And she'll want to get closer. Outro, cinematic close. This was never about tactics, it was about truth. You don't become magnetic by chasing. You become magnetic by becoming. So if something stirred in you today, if a fire flickered in your chest, click like, drop a comment. I lead with wisdom. And remember, your value was never about who notices you. It's about how powerfully you walk in your purpose, in your peace, and in your presence. Keep building, keep leading, and welcome to purity and passion, where men don't just awaken, they rise. Let me know if you'd like this in a downloadable script format, a version with timestamps, or if you want visuals or voiceover tone suggestions to go with it.